Hello, Aldwyn Altuney here. Welcome to Media Queen TV. We have a beautiful guest with us today who is an extraordinary lady who I met fairly recently, and she has joined our beautiful mass media mastery tribe. Now, this lady we're going to chat with today went from poverty, abuse, and abandonment in the UK to now helping people transform their lives with a Reset Your Life Day and challenge, which is coming straight after Are You OK Day, which is on September 9. So next week, September 10, is the Reset Your Life Day, and the Reset Your Life Challenge is on September 13. Some very exciting initiatives with that. And what an amazing lady. She's an author, a speaker, unbelievable the things she's gone through. We're going to hear some of her story today. Welcome, Pamela.
Hey, Aldwyn, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. And Reset Your Life Day meditation is this Friday.
This
so Friday, coming up really quick.
Yes. Very quick. Yeah. So what's happening with the meditation?
5:30 a.m. If you're local, you can come down to Surfers and join me. Otherwise, it's going to be streamed through Facebook Live. But it's going to be a guided, because I'm a hypnotherapist, neuro-linguistic programming master, and timeline therapist. I'm going to do a kind of a mixture of all of that to take your body back in time to when it was a child and a baby, where you came into the world with a perfect body, perfect mindset, perfect everything. You weren't conditioned or programmed by your environment then. So I get your body to go back and remember that stage, because we're built for success. And so the meditation is going to guide you step by step with your new goals to undo your environmental influences, your environmental conditioning and your programming and the wounded behavior by people around you, so that you can reset your life with your new goals that you come with. I get you to think about those, and I take you through a process to add that to where you want to be, rather than living by default. I want you to live by design.
Love that. And so important now more than ever to actually just press that reset button and to start from exactly where you're at, and you can transform your life. You can definitely change things. And if anyone knows about that, Pamela certainly does. So some of the things she's been through. So Pamela, could you share some of your story with us of how you went from poverty, abuse, and abandonment to where you are now?
Absolutely. I would actually, and I should have asked you first, because I don't know. Sometimes I like to just read my poem that I've written about my early life, because it just kind of covers so much. So with your permission, I would like to just read that to share with people.
Yes,
that's okay
wonderful.
with you.
Love to hear that. Poetry.
So this is from this is from my book, Life in Verse, and it's all about perspective. And I took this picture actually in Fiji, and there's a picture of me taking a picture of this guy over here, taking a picture of the sunrise and sunset actually. So okay, so this book is all the poems in here are about not being good enough, and I'm more than what you say, and don't rock the boat, and feeling stuck, and all of those things. And there's a ton of poems in there, several pages, and basically you look at the poem and think, I'm feeling stuck today. And so you can read the poem on being stuck, and it will identify with being stuck. But then it gives you a different perspective, so you can get a different view, or maybe I can look at it from this direction or from this perspective instead. And then it flips that whole situation that you're in around, so that you can challenge what you're thinking and feeling and change it up. And then I've created a quote for each one, sort of along this kind of lines, like, you're always stronger than you think. Oh, I'm not very good with this camera right now. Yeah, so I've created different quotes to go with each one. So to answer your question, this is how I started off in life. Now, glasses. Otherwise, I am nearly 60 and I'm in denial with glasses. It's like, darn those things.
You look amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, 5 months off being 60. It feels weird, actually.
Yeah, you don't look 60 at all. So you're obviously doing something right there. So,
honestly, Aldwyn, it's all mindset. It really, really is. I eat properly, obviously. I don't always get enough sleep. Like this morning, I was up at 3 a.m. But it is mindset. It's believing in yourself and believing you're here for a bigger purpose, and then not just being less because other people have treated you that way. So I'll share with you my poem. So this is how I grew up. Thank you for listening. Okay, so when I was just a little girl, I rarely got to eat. My clothes were torn and dirty, and my shoes didn't fit my feet. We lived in poverty and debt, with times of absent lighting. Cold baths meant shaking cold and wet to the background noise of fighting. My father was such an angry man that mother tiptoed round in fear, and we kids dared not to rock the boat. We just held our breath when he was near. My mother, she was a simple thing. No schooling had left her dents, and she chain smoked like a chimney sweep and swore so much you could easy take offence. And there were many times of hiding too, behind the sofa flat to floor, from aggressive men called collectors who thunder banged the door. I found everything confusing. It made no sense at all, from the language they were using to the endless drama school. So I tried hard to be a good kid. I practiced manners and studied hard. I loved the sharing of my learning, but often found it tossed out in the yard. So I became then a people pleaser, and I cooked and cleaned aged 8. But that didn't work so well either. He chucked the food and smashed the plate. Father had this temper and terrifying rages, would shout, punch doors, and break our things. Incensed, his blow-ups ran in stages. Our mother often copped it first, with a fairly hefty smacking. We'd hide away, try not to hear her cries and yells, nerve-wracking. It wasn't safe to say a word, just tolerate, accept, abide. Give no show of those emotions, you keep those feelings locked inside. But nothing lasts forever. Soon mother left and ran away. She took my little sister with her, but where she went, she didn't say. Then was only 6 months later when my father too abandoned ship. He took my little brother with him while I was on a big road trip. So then I came home to find a completely empty house, and everything I owned was gone, a vacuum that was quiet as a mouse. Neither of them had wanted me, and at only 15 years of age, I couldn't work out what I'd done. Their moods I couldn't gauge. Feeling lost and lonely, fearful, sad, thinking, boy, I must be really bad. What to do now? Where can I go? Think, Pam, think. Okay, I know. Mother always sang this song, walk tall and look the world right in the eye. Well, that day I grew, and I did just that, and I didn't stop to cry. Now, that was 40 years ago, and I've done such a lot since then. I've worked hard and I've raised a family, and I began my life again. And my personal view on that is my start to life was hectic, but I wouldn't change it for anything. And I honestly, truly believe that and mean that. I've used it to help me grow, and I know with absolute conviction that I can deal with anything that comes my way.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. I love that. Wow. And, you know, some of the things you were telling me about your story, unbelievable what, you know, what you've been through. And, you know, a lot of people would have crumbled possibly under those circumstances, and you didn't. So, you know, what was it for you that kept you positive, that kept you moving forward, do you think, where others may have crumbled in those circumstances?
You know, I honestly believe the people that get the worst things thrown at them, and this is just my belief, because it puts me, and I believe it because it puts me back in a position of power rather than a position of victimhood. But I think the universe only throws at you what you can handle. And I think the stronger you are, the bigger the lessons that you've taken on, because you can handle it, and because you're going to fight it, and you're not going to be beaten down by it. And you know, I share all of this in my book, Making Broken Beautiful, which is exactly about my story of growing up being abused and being beaten and told I'll never be anything. And I've always had this fighting spirit and a curiosity to understand people. And I think I held on to the fact that I was a good girl. I think we intrinsically know whether we've been spiteful, whether we've been mean, whether we've been horrible, or we've been selfish, or we've been cruel. We know that what we've been like, right? And if we can be absolutely honest with ourselves, then I think you can hold on to that. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And if I've been spiteful or I've been mean, then own that. And if I've been a people pleaser, then own that. I was used to be really insecure. And I held on to a relationship for 25 years. There was nothing wrong with the relationship. We were great friends. But I didn't allow myself to go down that pathway of being romantically in love, because that was just too scary. And everything I owned had been taken away always. It didn't matter what I loved, I lost it. Whether it was my cat being, killed. My father like whacked it with a shovel, and there's lots of stories in my book about those kind of things where he was a cruel man, but he was an angry man too. And now I can hold on to the hate and the anger that I felt with all of that. But what does that get me? That's like drinking poison and expecting him to get sick. He's not going to get sick. So I think what I held on to was understanding that I knew I didn't do things wrong. I got things wrong, but I didn't deliberately go out to do things wrong. I didn't deliberately go out to hurt anybody. I didn't put anybody in a wrong place, in a bad position, to get myself in a good place. I didn't tell lies about someone just to get myself out of trouble or anything. If I screwed up, I screwed up. And it's just, I owned who I was. And I think if people can be honest about who they are, and I mean brutally honest, I'm a people pleaser, I'm insecure, I'm jealous. And rather than just being, I'm a jealous person, go, why am I jealous? Or why am I insecure? And understanding where that got set up, because we weren't born this way. We weren't born with all those worries and all those concerns and all those limitations. We learned those by the way people treated us, by what they said and what they didn't say, and what they did and what they didn't do, and our expectation of them as a parent or as a brother or a sister or a friend, auntie. We have expectations of what we think. Where do those expectations come from? The television and magazines and people that show you something on the outside, and on the inside it's actually a completely different story. So we get these perceptions of what we think life should be like, and when it doesn't measure up, then we make it personal, and it's you're pissed off, so it must be something I did wrong. And it's like, that's kind of egotistical, really. It's like, I'm making it all about me. You're mad, so I'm making it about me. I'm not going to make it personal anymore. I'm going to hold on to the fact that I'm a good person, that I try my best. I don't always get it right, and I screw up royally. And if I can own my mistakes and know that there are no mistakes, we do something well and we learn something, and we don't do something so well and we still learn something. So for me, there is no failure, there's only feedback. And I was a prolific reader, a prolific people watcher, and I held on to the fact that I was a good person, and there was something wrong with you people, because I know I don't deserve the way that you're treating me, and I'm going to find out why. And then I spent my whole life doing that, finding out why, reading everything I could get my hands on.
Amazing. And such a high achiever too. Like, some of the things you've done, unbelievable. From, growing up in abject poverty, the constant abuse, complete abandonment by your whole family at just 15 years of age. And you've gone on and you have done so many things, including, as a ski coach and with law, and, can you share some of these other things you've done? Like extraordinary.
Well, thank you. I did a law degree because my father was very handy. Kick you in the, you kick 7 bells out of you, and you just basically, I learned to dissociate and just curl up in a little ball, wait for him to have his little temper tantrum, and just think there is something wrong with you. And he said, "You'll never be anything." And in my head, my mantra was, "I'll show you, I'll show you." And there was a few expletives in there too. I did used to swear in my head as well, but I won't swear on here. But I'll show you. I'll show you. And so then when I was able to, when I was abandoned, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because my sister had left with my mother 6 months earlier, or she'd been taken with my mother. And my sister was 13 years old, and I'm just digressing just a second, but she wet the bed because she was the torment that she was getting from my mother and my father, and the beatings, and that she used to run away quite a lot and sleep out in someone's garden, and steal clothes off the washing lines and stuff to keep herself warm. And because she used to wet the bed until she was over 13, my mother used to tie her to a chair and put the sheet that was wet over her head. And so my sister never got past that, because she was she's a beautiful person, but she was very she was a slow learner. She's got the heart bigger than anyone I've ever met, but she was a slow learner. And my mother was a hypocritical, because my mother was the slowest learner. If there was a turtle, that would be Linford Christie or Usain Bolt compared to my mother's learning skills. But then that's why she was frustrated with Shirley. So you got to understand that people are not their behavior, and their behavior is what they do to get their unmet needs met. And my mother had been beaten by her father, and then my sister carried on with that. Not that she beat anyone, but she was in relationships where she was getting beaten. So she continued it. My brother stopped it, and I stopped it. And it's like, with me, this stops. And so I did my law degree just to prove that I wasn't a worthless piece of shit that my father said I was, that I wasn't dumb, that I wasn't stupid. And I got 98%. I think I spent a few months looking like, what didn't I argue right? what didn't I get right? So it's like, there's something, and I did the Mensa testing just to do the same thing. I had supervised testing, got 148, just to prove that I could, wasn't silly, stupid like my father said. But yeah, everything I did, I had to do to the top level. So when I became a snowboard coach and a ski coach, I had to become a level 1, 2, 3 instructor, and then I had to become a level 1, 2 examiner, and then I had to become on the tech team. And then, okay, I've done that now. I'll become. I was the most requested instructor for 13 out of the 14 years that I worked there, and one of them, there was a few of us that held that position, and people used to say, "Well, you just like being number one," and it had nothing to do with that. It just that I gave my very best, and I think we achieve our best and we get really good results when we give our best. But a lot of people sabotage themselves by only playing a little bit in, and then they get a little bit out, and then that confirms what they think about themselves. It's like, yeah, I knew, I didn't think I was going to be any good at it, so I didn't. They didn't just go all out, and when it didn't work, go, that was shit, I did that wrong. How can I reset and do that again? Which I actually love failing because I learned something. And I know that sounds silly, but that's just how I'm built. And it's like, there's got to be a different way. And, I've had yogurt cartons for cups because I didn't have any real cups and stuff like that. So it's like, it's about being a resourceful and resilient and adapting to what's going on around you. And nothing really bothers me. It has to be a massive thing for it to bother me, because I understand people. I've taken the time to understand myself, understanding what my weaknesses are, and understanding my strengths and working on those, but working on my weaknesses too, because my strengths take care of themselves. And then helping other people see that they're not what happened to them. They're not that story they've got running in their head. They're what they choose to do with that story. And so I've achieved so many things. I started becoming a helicopter pilot, doing flying lessons, and I became a sports injury therapist and trigger point therapy, and I've got my Reiki masters and then my Karuna Reiki masters, and I have, I'm a personal trainer and a gym instructor, and I could go on with this list forever, because I am Tony Robbins. I love Tony Robbins, and when I did his training, I became a Core 100 coach, and then I did him and Dean Graziosi's KBB knowledge broker, and John Assaraf. I love John Assaraf to death. I hope to meet that man sometime. And his neuroscience training just is like absolutely brilliant. And all these people are brilliant at empowering other people and finding as many different ways to empower everybody. And they've got the money to be able to do it on a big scale. I'm just a tadpole compared to those, but I am still doing my little bit. And that's what I think people get caught out with. They think, well, who am I? And I'll tell you something that I read once, and I hold on to this little thought, actually. Like, who am I? I'm a nobody. Okay, I'm a little girl from a government housing estate that relied on school meals for food, but wore the same shoes to school for 2 years, and they wore through the bottom, so I had to put plastic bags over my socks, so because it rains a lot in England and you get wet feet and they go all white and grotty. And I had to bend the backs down so that my foot would still fit, so it became a kind of a clog. But for a while they fit really well, and I felt kind of posh. But my mother used to spend the grant money. We'd get school grant money for clothes and shoes, and she was a prolific smoker, so she spent the money on that. But now I'm not identified by the clothes I wear or whatever. It's like, what, my kids, I've got a pair of orange pants that I've had about 10 years. Actually, that's a lie. They're about 20 years old. And my youngest daughter says I look like I've escaped from Guantanamo Bay when I wear them. But I love them, right? They're old. And they've been around the block several times in the fashion colors now. But I love them, right? And I'm going to wear what makes me comfortable. So I think you just got to understand that you are what you tell yourself. And just because you don't, just because I can't make the impact on a Tony Robbins or a Dean Graziosi or a John Assaraf or a Joe Dispenza scale, because they've got the money, the team behind them, and they've worked really hard to get there. And they've used their skills. I'm really just starting, and that doesn't make me less. It just means that I'm a real person on a real level. They're not real people. I'm not trying to make that comparison, but they're big people, and little people like don't get to hang out with those kind of big people. But anyway, maybe they might,
Yeah, I'm curious about your ski instructing, how you got into ski instructing. You were a sought after ski instructor by many celebrities. How did that all happen for you?
Well, just because of the position I was in, that I was just chosen, I guess. I just was chosen to work with people that were very wealthy and very, very nice people. And some were famous, some. everybody was famous in their own way too, but yeah. But yeah, I
Someone
was
famous.
supposed to be, yeah, Sam, yeah. So I was supposed to be coaching Pink, but sadly for me and for her too, actually, her dog died. So taught all of her troop and friends and stuff, but I didn't get to teach her. And I'd love to have met her because my children took the day off school, but they love Pink and they were hiding out. I go, oh, is she here? Is she here? And then when she did come, they were so disappointed, but that's okay. That's life. But you know, I just want people to know that you can make a difference in it. Oh, I didn't tell you. Let me finish that. So there's a story or a fable of thousands upon thousands of starfish washing up on the beach, and this little boy goes down and he's picking up one and walking all the way down the beach. You know this already, I can tell by the smile on your face. They're walking down, he's put it in the water and he's letting it float away, and then he walks back up and he gets the next one and he's walking down, and an old gentleman's been watching him for about 2 hours going, and he went over to him in the end and said, son, there's thousands of those, you're not going to make any difference. And you've been here for 2 hours already, and look, there's still thousands left. And the little boy picks that one, and he walks all the way down to the beach and puts it in the water and said, made a difference to that one. And I love that. And I think, well, you know, I may not be able to make a difference like all these other people are, but they started off where I was, making a difference to one person, then 5 people, then 10 people. And so that's my journey. And that's why I went through so much as a child. Well, I believe we go through these to help other people who aren't as strong, who don't have that mindset, who don't have that motivation and drive. I believe that we take that on and agree to that as a soul contract so that we can help those people that need that help and that guidance. Because otherwise, life makes sense that way. Otherwise, what's it all for? Right? And when you think like that, you might think, people listening to might think, well, a load of bullshit. And that's entirely up to you. But when you're thinking that, you're putting yourself in a position of power because you think life's happening to you. And when you start happening that life's happening for me, okay, why did I choose this? Why am I having that? We don't choose our experiences, but maybe we choose our growth that we want. And if I want to have level 10 growth this time, whether you believe in past lives or not, then I go, I want a level 10 experience. I don't get to choose how that comes, but I get to have that experience and I deal with it as it comes. And I think when you own that life, what happens for you, it puts you in a position of power. That's just my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. Why is this happening for you, or how is this happening for you, rather than why is this happening to you, is a great question to ask. And taking 100% responsibility for everything in life, that is also a really powerful place to stand, rather than being the victim or, you know, playing the blame game, etc. And, you know, I talk about
100%.
energy a lot nowadays because I'm so conscious of energy. And, you know, having had depression myself over the years, having had 4 friends take their own lives, I'm very conscious to energy. And, of course, everything is energy, right? And, you know, the highest vibration you will feel, you're 99% energetic beings, right? The highest vibration is enlightenment at 700 hertz. The lowest is 0, is dead, right? So none of us are dead. If you're watching this, you're obviously not dead. But if you're at shame, you're at 20.
I feel like you are.
Shame is 20. Anger, sadness is all 150 and below. Guilt, all those emotions, very low vibration. And when you're in that low vibration, you will not attract opportunities to yourself. Whereas when you raise your vibration to, if you get to love and gratitude, you're 500 plus, peace and enlightenment, they're the highest vibration. So the more you can lift your energy and your vibration, the better experiences you will attract to yourself. And there will be challenges, of course, because, you know, this is how we grow. Diamonds are created under pressure, right? Diamonds created under pressure. So, Pam, I love what you're talking about. I love what you do. Now, you do have a reset system, right? 5 steps to reset your life. I'd love to hear what these 5 steps are. Could you share that with us, please?
Yeah, I did have it up, but then I had to shut down. You said shut down all the pages, and I shut the thing down.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, we'll be coming back to you shortly with the reset system. In the meantime, those watching this right now, we'll just go to a short commercial break.
let me find it. No, where did I put it? So let me see. I might be able to bring it. So reset. It's basically. Do you have it on yours? You probably have it
actually,
on
yes,
yours,
actually, I do here. I have.
I don't want to touch my computer because
we've got the press release right here. We've got the press release right here. In fact, I'm going to share this. Reset stands for recognize, evaluate, specify, evolve, and transform. So let's start with recognize is our very first one. I'm going to put into the comments for those watching this later. And also, if you are joining us right now, then please pop in the chat where you are joining us from and what are some things that you do to reset your life. What are some things that you could do? So there we go. We've got all of them there. I'll pop them into our private chat as well, Pam.
So basically, the reset. sorry, the reset system is about, it's a 5-step process to help you understand where you're at right now and how you've stayed there so long, what's kept you stuck and what's keeping you stuck, and why can't you move forward. And I believe in going back there and unpacking all of that and really understanding it and working on towards forgiving the people that have helped you stay stuck there. And forgiveness is a hard thing. And I have people say, "Oh, just forgive," and it's like, well, it's not that hard. Sorry, it's not that easy. It's so, you want people to hurt. The people that hurt you, you want them to hurt just as much. But I love the saying, and Tony Robbins says it all the time, it's like drinking poison, expecting them to get hurt. They're not going to die. They're not going to get hurt. You're the only one that's staying sick because they've moved on and they've forgotten about you, left and on with the next person that they're hurting. So I think what we're doing, where you got to understand is, and this is what when I'm working with my, whether it's in private practice or in my programs, I work to help people understand that they're forgiving for themselves. I'm forgiving so that, like, my father and Jean and all those people that hurt me no longer have any negative energetic attachment to me. I can disconnect from them, and it's like an umbilical cord. I've got a cord to them and they've got one to me. So I cut my connection to them and I cut their connection to me. And then I can actually reset that part of my energetic system and I can heal that wound. Because we, as I said earlier, we're babies. We come in perfect to sit up unsupported and to crawl by ourselves and walk by ourselves and learn to talk by, what do we think your environment influences you by the language you speak and how you pronounce things and what you call things. We think we're English, we call this, we would call this a pen, but you go over to France and it's a stylo, and it's like, what the hell is a stylo? And you didn't grow up in that environment, so you're not influenced by that environment. So you got to understand that your environment influences you so deeply that you make up stories about what that means when mum didn't give you the time of day when you've been doing a drawing all day. So or dad, gets angry and shouts at you and blames you for something. He's just like letting off steam, but you think, oh, I'm not good enough and it's all about me, and then you make it personal. So my reset system walks you step by step through that. It helps you understand all that. It helps you get a better perspective and understand that your parents, if they're hurting you or your people around you are hurting you, they were hurt too. Now, this doesn't make it okay. All right. It doesn't. It just means that if my mother was being beaten and abused, she can't show me love and kindness. She didn't know. So that's like expecting her to teach me everything in Chinese. And it's like, why won't she speak to me in Chinese? I said, well, she never learned it. And this is something I say to my clients, like, why didn't your parents speak to you in Japanese? Then they go, Pam, they didn't learn Japanese. And I said, isn't that interesting? They can't teach you what they don't know. So if they don't know about love and kindness, they don't know about compassion or education, they can't teach what they don't know. So they're a reflection of what happened to them. So that actually, their behavior actually gives you an insight into who they were and how they were treated. Now, again, it doesn't make it okay, but when you come from a place of understanding and you can come back and go, this is not personal, you can have empathy for that person and you can forgive that person so it no longer impacts you. And we do all of that at the beginning of my 6-week program. We use those 5 steps to unpack it. And then when we unpack it, we understand it, we can forgive. Now we can think about moving on and we can correct it, we can change it, and we can reset. And that's what all of those things. And then you can transform with the T's for transformation, and you can use all of those steps. And I've put, like I said, nearly 60, and I've been doing this since I was 17, learning about human behavior. So over 40 years worth of learning and training. I have more qualifications in hairs in my head. Doesn't make me any better than anyone else or any smarter. It just means I've got a toolbox that's monster big, and I can help you get around any problem that you've got by helping you understand how it got there in the first place and who gave it to you and what was going on with that person. Because we make it all about us, but we need to go, okay, what is wrong with you out there so I can fix me in here? And everything starts in here. I'm not powerful enough to make you feel anything. So if I'm annoying the crap out of you, then I've just triggered something, that internal reference that you already have, because I'm not that powerful. So when you understand that, then they're not powerful enough to hurt you either. So they've triggered something in your internal reference, which means if you look at it that way, you go, wow, I just got triggered by that. What is it about that that's hurting me, upsetting me, making me feel whatever it is I feel? And I can learn and grow. So that's another part of the 5-step reset system in my 6-week program, to enable you to have a thorough understanding. And it's, like I say, over 40 years worth of training and learning and my own personal experiences and how I got through that, so that I've had an amazing life. I have an incredible life, and I've created that myself, not because I got a big team behind me, not because I've got a really supportive family or anything like that. I did it because I was driven and motivated to want more for me, because I saw people around me when I grew up with the boyfriends I was lucky enough to have, their families were so different from mine. And I think that's where I got that thing from. Like, if I was really what my father was saying, then why didn't my boyfriend's family treat me the same way? So my reset system builds all of that level of understanding and that clarity, and unpacking it so you can reset and finally set the goals that you actually want, and have some, 99.9% chance of achieving them, because now you've cleared the reasons why you've sabotaged your efforts in the past, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, it does. And hurt people, I want to remind you. And ever since I heard this, it just, I wish I heard it 20 years ago, but, I heard it more recently. Hurt people. And it just makes so much sense, exactly what you're talking about. People can only, most people are doing the best they can. Most people, not conscious of how they're coming across. Some people are being nasty without realizing they're being nasty, and it's just how they're conditioned.
They think that's just who they are. Yeah, they think it's who they are. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm always like that. And it's like, well, no, you're not. You weren't born that way. You learned that.
Exactly. Yeah. And half the thing's just getting conscious where you've been unconscious, and sending those people love who are hurting right now, because as you say, resentment is like taking the poison and wanting someone else dead. It doesn't, they don't care whether you hate them or like them or whatever. They don't care about that. You're just eating away at yourself if you're holding on to any resentment whatsoever. So look at everything as a gift and look for the lessons in everything, I suggest.
Yeah, I do too. It's a grow. Life is here for us to grow. We don't grow unless we're pushed outside of our comfort zone, or unless we're challenged by what we think or what we believe, or what we think we are and what we think we are not. We don't know what we're capable of. We need adversity, and when you use adversity properly, you can grow through adversity, and you become more of who you can be and who you should be. Because people that don't want to grow, they may only be in their 30s or 40s, or even if they're in their 70s, they may potentially have another 30 years on the planet. But so many people in that age group are done growing. They're like, I had someone the other day said, oh, well, I am 57, I think I've done all that now. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm nearly 60, and I don't plan on stopping learning and growing until I'm going down and under the ground. And then when I'm on the other side, I'll learn about ghostly duties or something like that. I'm going to haunt all those people that hurt me, actually. I'll spook them.
Yeah, amazing. So what else is in this reset system that we can share with people today?
Complete transformation, and that's a promise for sure. I've put my heart and soul into this reset system and the 6-week program, and I work with you to help you get the results you want, because there's no reason to stay stuck. And if you can look at everything that's happened to you, and the bigger the pile of poop it is, the bigger your growth can be. And look at it as, okay, this is horrible, that was horrible. And I've been, like I say, sexually abused, physically abused. I was sexually assaulted by the babysitter when I was 15 and a half, because I could only babysit to get money until I was 16, because English, being in England, you couldn't work until you were 16. And so I could have let all that define me, but I knew there was something wrong with those people, and I just held on to this understanding that I was a good person. I knew in my heart I was a good person, and I knew there was something wrong with people, because I made education my go-to. That was my drug of choice. And I'm still learning. I take on way too many projects at a time. I drive everyone around me crazy, but I don't want to miss an opportunity. Maybe I got a FOMO when it comes to education and learning something, because as soon as I learn something, I want to share it. It's like, oh, and I want to, so other people's lives can be better. And I'm on a mission. I met someone walking down to the beach yesterday, and we ended up having a coffee together. We stood at the traffic lights and we had this instant connection. And she goes, I can't believe I just met you. And it's like everything you say, it's life changing, and you can impact that person. Even just doesn't have to be impacting on that scale, but it can be by stepping outside your comfort zone and smiling at someone and asking them if they're okay, which is why I love Are You Okay Day on Thursday. That happens, which is I want people to know if they're not okay on Thursday, they can reset tomorrow on Friday, which is September the 10th. So I'll be getting this movement going every year. And, we can all make a difference if we stop feeling sorry for ourselves and we stop being a victim, and we step outside and go, I'm going to use all of this now to learn about who I am, learn about why I get jealous, learn about why I feel insecure, why I feel silly, why I do the most dumbest things, why I won't allow myself to be successful. Because if it's personal limitations, because if there were real limitations, everybody would be limited the same way, but they're not, right? It's like spiders. It's like, if spiders are really that dangerous, You know, everyone would be scared of them, but some people pick them up. I'm not one of those people, but they do. Do you know what I mean? So there's like, what limitations that you have that are personal to you, and where did you learn that? Who taught you that, and how did you get it? Because you didn't bring that with you. I can't emphasize that enough. You know, that's what my reset system is about: is getting your body to remember the perfect blueprint that you were born with, and get rid of all that programming and that condition that came from your environment. And that's really what it's all about. It's just about resetting and redoing your life over again. Even if you're 70, you still got 30 years maybe on the planet. You know, never be done growing, never.
Yes, yes. You know, it's interesting, since the Jaws movie came out, you know, suddenly sharks were terrible things, you know, that were going to just attack everybody, you know, and that was just a paper mache shark, you know, when you really look into how it was made. You know, and then anaconda, you know, massive snake. You know, there's people who have pet snakes, and there's others who just freak out at the sight of them. In fact, my cat the other day brought in a green tree snake. We were doing a bit of trimming of some of the trees here. And next thing, my cat has a tree snake at my feet. Like, there's about, you can't see, but it was quite like, it was like a meter long, this tree snake. And because it was brown, it was a brown tree snake, because you get green ones, and, you know, this was a brown one. I thought, oh my goodness, is it a brown snake? You know, so, but, you know, and then my friend came along, he just picked it up and put it back on the tree, and it was all good, you know, and I was like, you know, but I freaked out because, you know, I guess, you know, I've watched Anaconda.
Because of the stories you've heard about those. And exactly. And because and that's what happens in life, though, Aldwyn. You know, it's not even about what's going on in front of you. It's about the story you're making up about that. It's what you're telling yourself. It's like you can have 5 people all grow up in the same house, and they'll all tell you a different story about what life was like, what mum was like, what dad was like. And it's like their perception of what it was. And, you know, all of that stuff is what I've got in my book, Making Broken Beautiful. It's about all the tools. I share a ton of the tools that I learned from people like John Assaraf's in there too, and so's Tony Robbins and Joe Dispenza and all those. And Marissa Peer is brilliant with her hypnosis meditation. For any of you guys out there, that hypnosis is brilliant for getting past that inner critic. And I've got some brilliant exercises in my Reset Your Life program that actually bypass that little puppy.
Awesome. Awesome. Can you show us that Making Broken Beautiful book? Can you show us a copy of that?
I certainly can. Here we go.
There it is.
Sorry, hang on. Let me just got to work out the camera first.
Nice. I like it. And what does the subtitle say under that? Making Broken Beautiful. That's my site. From nightmare and tragedy to
badass.
To badass, wealth and success. Nice.
And
nice.
It's been adapted to a screenplay too.
Fantastic. Wow, that'll be brilliant. And where can people get a copy of your books, Pam?
This one and both of these are on Amazon. They're on Amazon.
Life in Verse.
This one, Life in Verse. They're both available on Amazon. And they're a lot of people. I've got a lot of people who've given me testimonials with this one, and particularly they say, I'm having my hour with Pam, and because of all the tools in the back, you know. So I got lots of quotes in there too. If you're not helping make it right, then stop complaining about it being wrong. And there's lots of quotes in there too about that. And then the tools and how I used it and how it worked for me and how you can make it work for you. So a lot of people say it's their Bible, and that was kind of cool.
Fantastic.
So there's lots of testimonials.
Nice chunky book too. It's a nice big book. You know, it's a chunky book.
Let me tell you how many pages there are. There are 400 and something pages. 427 pages.
Yeah, amazing. Wow, 427 pages. Fantastic. And for those who missed the reset system, it's recognize, evaluate, specify, evolve, and transform. And you can read all the details about it on the link I put in there at my aaexpose.com website. If you go to the media section there, you'll see the whole press release. And of course, Pamela is available for interviews if you have a podcast. And
I love talking. Apparently, I could talk with a mouthful of marbles underwater. I need to try that.
You make a great guest too, Pamela. You're amazing. Amazing. Thanks so 5:30 on Friday. My goodness, I think I'll have to stay awake to get to that one because I'm not much of an early bird.
It'll be worth it, I promise. And so so if you're going to come in live, you can record it too. I want everyone to record it for repeated listening because, you know, something else Tony Robbins always says is repetition's the mother of skill, and it's how we learn everything. And so, something done over and over and over again. So it's like saying, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, enough, which is a Marissa Peer thing too. And mine is, I'm more than what you say I am. I'm more than what you say I am. You can choose to believe what other people say to you and how people treat you. And we're always blaming. And that's something else I cover in my 6-week Reset Your Life core program, is about stop blaming. Stop thinking that other people are the reason you're where you are. You're thinking about what's, your perception about the stories that you're telling yourself and how you feel about people and things. It's your perception that's keeping you there. It's not what happened at all. It's what you've got wrapped up around that. And I've got a really foolproof system, that in like the reset system, that actually gets you past all that. It's a brilliant course, and I'm really, really proud of it. And the people that do it, they'll get 100% money back guarantee if they don't have any change and they're not happy, because I want them to be happy, and I want them to see that change. And everybody I've worked with, and I've worked with some really challenged people, see results within a very short time, and some within hours. So I'm very proud of the work I do. And it's funny, that's something else we're not very good at either. We're not very good at owning what we're good at. We think we're being, like my father used to, knock me around and say, I think when I was proud of myself, I come home with a school card that had lots of A's and A pluses on it. And I was like, and my effort in wasn't rewarded. And it was interesting. And I'll share something else with you that I only had a realization when I had a meltdown a couple of days ago, actually. So I'm still growing, and I want to be having these realizations. They're not fun. But he would say I was a big head. So I was never taught to be proud of my achievements. Now, and anyone out there who's listening to this, to be proud of your achievements and to own it. And if you've put the effort in, and you know how much effort you've put in, you know how much time you've given it. And if you've put a ton of effort in, the reward at the end, if it reflects that, then if it's good, then you put a good amount of effort in. And if it doesn't mean you didn't. It just means you need to learn something else. Maybe there's something I needed to know more about, or I needed more practice in. Okay, but a lot of people get jealous and don't like it when you say you're good at something, because they think that you're saying you're better than them. And I had a guy come to me once who came in my office down in Coffs Harbour and said, I'm looking for a mindset coach and blah, 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 and all of this. And I went, oh, cool, I'm really good at what I do. I'll be able to get you results in about an hour. And he said, well, that's a bit big-headed, isn't it? A bit egotistical, and started just doing this sort of thing. And I said, well, you could say that, but let me ask you a question. If you were going in for brain surgery tomorrow, and you went to meet up with a surgeon, would you want the surgeon that goes, yeah, I'm actually damn good at what I do, I'll be able to keep you safe, don't you worry about that? Or do you want the one that's going to go, yeah, last week I had a shocker, I was tired, didn't eat well, and missed a couple of days of my tablets and stuff, but this week doing really, really well? I mean, who would you choose? You want the one that's confident. Do you know what I mean? So own yourself. So everybody out there listening, I don't care whether you're best at making the best butterfly cakes on the planet, or you sew, or you're the best friend, or the best mum, or the best impressionist for doing puppets for your children. Whatever it is, I want you to own it and grow from it, because you're not saying you're better than anyone else. You're just saying, I put the effort in, and I'm good at this. And the things you're not so good at, understand that you're not good at them, because maybe you need a bit more knowledge, a bit more practice, a bit more training, some more skills. That's it. It doesn't mean anything else. It doesn't mean you're a failure. So stop. No failure. There's any feedback. And then the other thing that I want to share with you is, because I grew up in poverty and relied on school meals, and I wore the same clothes for years. Luckily, I'm only 5'1" and a bit, although I tell everybody I'm 5'2", and I stretched my neck up a bit to get there. I wear little heels, but so my clothes, it didn't really matter for me, but they were pretty shabby by the end of it. And we didn't have an iron, right? And school skirts, why are they pleated? And you know how I did it? I'd wash mine in cold water in the sink, and then I'd get these books or bricks from outside that I'd wrap in newspaper so that they didn't get my skirt dirty. And then I'd fold all my skirts up like this, and all the pleats, and then I'd put all the bricks on top of them. And it wasn't really a sharp line like all the other girls did with their nice pressed ones, but I still had pleats. So resourcefulness and resilience, right? It works. Yes. But the realization I want to share with you the other day is, because I grew up that way and watching other people, I never was jealous of all those people. I'm like, one day I'm having that, because if someone else has got it, we can have it too. All right. So the thing that's been getting in my way, because I'm not the Tony Robbins level and I'm not the Dean Graziosi level, is because I realized the other day that going away on holiday, when I'd gone away on holiday with my boyfriend at 15 and a half, Jean, the woman that had come in, after my mother left. So I'll take back step. My mother left at 15 while I was at school. I came home and she'd gone taken my sister. My brother and I put an advert in the paper to get my dad a companion because he was not happy, man. And he wasn't very good when he was sort of happy, let alone when he wasn't happy. So we thought, let's get him a companion, get him distracted. As soon as I met her, there was something about her that I didn't like, that she was dark and mean. And she had my father just like, it was really funny. My brother and I like, what? But she came to our house and we all had to sit like this and had cold baths, and the whole house had been spotless. We'd been cleaning it for hours before she came. And then I don't know where he got it from, but he got a cup and a saucer and he made her a cup of tea. And we're like, my brother and I go, where'd he get that from? No, where'd that cup and saucer? Like, don't know. So she had a cup of tea and she was walking around with a little pinky out like this and whatever. And we're like going, ooh, that's it. Anyway, she kept him distracted, right? And my boyfriend at the time said, you can come on holiday with us. My parents said you can come. And I'm like, yeah, like that's going to happen. I'm chief cook and bottle wash. I can't do anything. And so we talked about how could we present this information. I told Jean about it when she was around the house once. I'd only met her a couple of times. And I sort of like casually mentioned it while Ian was there, because I was always safe to mention things when he was there. And what I didn't realize then was she'd obviously thought that's a great idea, because she persuaded my dad to let me go. Now, because I was allowed to go, alarm bells were ringing in my head, and I'm like, there's something dark about you. I don't like you. I don't trust you. But now I'm about to go on holiday, and I'm going to go overseas and see foreign people and foreign food and foreign countries. It was just like the most amazing. That I went to Switzerland and they had window boxes with flowers and lederhosen's a real thing. People wear that stuff, and I'm like, this is so mad. And all these foreign foods and snails, and I'm like, wow, because we did Germany and France and Italy and Spain, and I got a tiny little radio that I got from a jumble sale. I used to listen to Radio Luxembourg underneath the pillow. And we went through Luxembourg. I'm like, oh, I listened to this place on the radio. And it was like pirate radio. It was just amazing. So I had the most happiest, incredible time of my life. And then I came home and I had the most terrible time of my life, because the house was empty and everything I owned had gone. And even the people that were abusing me and beating me and telling me I was a waste of space and a pile of shit didn't even want me. My dad had taken my brother and he'd moved in with her. Although I didn't know that at the time, just said, empty, where do I go? So I only realized, and that was incoming, percolating as an idea the last couple of months. And then about 3 days ago, I had a complete meltdown where I sobbed my heart out on the carpet, and it still makes me feel a bit emotional. So I know I've still got some work to do there, but that's growth. That I'd married, that I can't allow fantastic things to happen to me. The most amazing things that happen to me, because something equally bad is going to be the payoff. And I know a lot of people out there are doing that you can only, I allow myself to have a certain amount of success and happiness, but I restrict it. Like I can love someone, but I can't be in love. I can be kind of not poor, but I can't be like fabulously wealthy either, because it's like, that's my holiday. That's like the fantastic side of things. And so something else is bad going to happen. So I'm going to protect myself, and I'm not going to allow for these amazing things to happen to me because the payoff's too big. So I mean, now that I'm conscious of that, and I know that I've made that about that, I can actually go about changing that. So my walk on the beach today for my hour was tapping and doing my reverse clock therapy and the other stuff that I do in my reset. But that is all part of my course to help me get my head around that. So the next time you're talking, I'm going to be a millionaire.
Wow.
But we make those things up. We make those stories up.
Thank you for sharing that, Pamela. You're not alone in that. I think a lot of people, we've been hurt over time, and the more we get hurt, the more we have stories around that. Like I know I've had the minute I get too close to someone, I'm going to get hurt. There's all sorts of stories that most of us have running subconsciously often, and it's when we do get conscious to it, as you mentioned, we get conscious to it, we can actually shift it, right? We can actually transform that area, and there's nothing wrong. It's actually really good to cry. It's really good to let your emotions out. I grew up in a family where we watch negative news every single day, 2 hours of negative news. And my dad used to say to me, anger is danger. And so I internalized my anger for years, which led to depression. And, that has come out in other ways, in the depression. And I went through a really dark period as well, just before the last full moon, on the Friday before the last full moon on the Sunday, about 2 weeks ago. I went through a really dark period too, and I was just crying uncontrollably for no reason and just didn't want to get out of bed. I got a massive migraine. I ended up throwing up. I just I guess I took on the energy, and right now the energy is pretty heavy out there, right? There's a lot of people that are suffering right now. There's a lot of people really struggling, and if you're empathic in any way, right, you tune into this, right? And we can take on this collective consciousness of drama that's happening with a lot of people. However, on the flip side of that, there's also a whole lot of people that are waking up to what's going on, and there's a whole lot of beautiful peace and loving energy out there as well at the same time, like the yin yang of life, right? So being able to express your feelings as they come up, being able to cry and let it out, and not make yourself wrong for it either. This is part of being human. Is having these experiences, and
it's honoring how you feel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would imagine, I can see that's such a strong trigger for you, or has been in the past, Pamela, that, you've just had this amazing holiday overseas and you come back to an empty house and your whole family's abandoned you. And, so you kind of would think, well, who can I trust? Who can I trust in my family, in life, in anyone who comes into my life? Who can I trust? I have all good intentions. I wanted to, make my dad happy and get him a companion. She ended up being a bloody Nazi. And, well, probably shouldn't say Nazi. I'm not against Nazis. Well, I mean, anyway, let's not go down that path. But each to their own. But she ended up being. We'll cut that bit out. She's
the Wicked Witch of the West. Is what she was.
The Wicked Witch. There you
go. She's the Wicked Witch of the West.
Who would have thought? And all of that has made you so much stronger and so much more resilient. And
absolutely.
I was on an amazing call with a beautiful lady called Jodie Michelle Perry, who's based up in Port Douglas. And, we talk about gratitude practices, and, often, I think about 3 things I'm grateful for. And, she suggests when you think about your 3 gratitudes, or speak it out, or however you do gratitudes, think about a macro thing, think about a micro thing, and think about something that you can be grateful for yourself. So, for example, I'm grateful for the stars and the planet. I'm grateful for the trees as a micro, and I'm grateful for my resilience. And often, being grateful for yourself is one of the toughest things that people will often, have, is to actually show that gratitude for yourself. So what's something you can be grateful for today, Pamela, about yourself?
I am absolutely grateful for my my resilience and my resourcefulness and my bounce back. My partner, Mark, now, he's a beautiful man, and he always marvels at that I bounce back so quickly. I can fall off, and just like the other day, I can spend hours just crying and just going, what is wrong with people? Because I've lost so much money over the last 10 months. I've lost thousands upon thousands of dollars, probably about 30 something $1,000. I sold one unit to release some money and bought a cheaper one so that I could get my message out there and market it properly. And then I was, I must have mug written on my forehead, because, people take $7,000 here and $5,000 there, and they're going to help me get my message out there, and they're going to help me do this and help me do that. And then doesn't happen. I've got my website, which didn't transpire, and I had to pay someone else to put it right and to actually make it work. But I always say to him, I've lost a lot of money, and when you're taking risks, you're going to lose a lot of things. But I don't define myself by my losses. I think, well, okay, I see the world. We see the world. Everyone does, as we are. So if you're not a person that is going to rip anybody off or tell lies or cheat or whatever, you don't see the world that way. Okay, so I see the world as a really loving and caring and a good place to be, and it really is. So I see people that way, and I've just got to be a little bit more in tune and not be so trusting. But then you know what? That's their problem. And money I can always get back. My time I spend worrying about it, trying to be something I'm not, trying to fit in, I can't get that time back. So the only person I need to honor is me and be true to me. And like I said at the beginning, we know when we're being a good person. We know when we're not being a good person. And that's on us. We know when we're lying. We know when we're embellishing. We know when we're being a drama queen. And we know when we're creating circumstances in our lives. And, I know several people that go out and they create such a big drama around them, and they know it's a lie, but they've gone so far into it now they can't come back. So they have to continue living that lie, and that's really sad for them, because they're stuck there now, because they've created this thing around them. And to my partner's ex is one of those people, and she's created this big thing around her, and I know several people in the same place that now they can't, they're stuck there, unless they can honestly be honest with themselves and go, you know, I made all that crap up. I did it because I was insecure. I did it because I was needy. I did it because I wanted attention. And then I can actually grow and live my life honestly. Many people in this world are not living their lives honestly. They're living what they think their partners want them to be, or their parents want them to be, or their friends think they should be. And they're living their lives according to other people's morals and other people's values and other people's standards. And that's a waste of their own life. And they can't come back from that. Once you create a thing about who you are and what you've done, and you do some silly things because of it, or you're stuck there now, and you've got to continue that lie on. Otherwise, you've got to admit that you've been lying for a while, and then you're frightened of losing all those people. But you should never be afraid of that either, because the people that matter don't mind, and the people that mind don't matter.
Yes, so true. And, you know, I think anyone in business over time has been ripped off. And unfortunately, there are a lot of charlatans in the field of, you know, coaching, mentoring, etc. And some people will just grab the money and run. And, you know, it's hard to know sometimes at the beginning until you start to work with people. And I know certainly it's happened to me. I've thrown, you know, I mean, I would say I've invested at least $500,000 in my personal development since 2005, at least $500,000. And I keep investing continually because, you know, I want to stay on top of my game. And there are also some amazing people out there who do an extraordinary job. And I am grateful for all the mentors I've had over time, because it all teaches us things, right? And we will keep attracting certain situations and keep looking for evidence for whatever we believe to be true as well, right? So,
100%.
you know, so anyone, and I know any millionaire that I know has lost a lot of money over time because they've taken chances, right? They've taken chances, and it takes something to step up with that courage. And, you know, something that a guy called Ben Harvey from Authentic Education says, he says, I'm allowed. I'm allowed. That's his thing. I'm allowed. I'm allowed to fall sometimes. I'm allowed to, you know, learn from these experiences. I'm allowed to trust. I'm allowed to, you know, to do whatever it is that you want to do. And, you know, I think over time, I think for myself, you know, I've learned to do some more due diligence before. Like I put 40 grand into this share trading thing once with people I trusted that was meant to, you know, triple the money in 3 months. And, you know, and I lost the whole lot, 40 grand, just like that, with people that I trusted. And, you know, and in hindsight, now when I look back at that, the learning for me, and hey, it could have been 400 grand, it could have been 4 million, you know. So the learning, looking back, was like, well, really, I didn't do my due diligence. I trusted what these guys said, and I just didn't look into it enough at the time. And so really, if you get the lesson from that, then it's not a waste of 40 grand. Sure, it's 40 grand. Still 40 grand.
It's an expensive lesson, but it's still a lesson.
Expensive lesson. However, it could have been worse. And that's the thing, is that it can always be worse, right? So, you know, this is it. So if you get the learning, it's not a wasted experience. And you know, I am grateful for all the mentors that I've had and all the people that are doing the right thing by people, because the truth will always come out in the end. The truth comes out in the end. So you know whether you're lying. And if you do lie, it's a very, very stressful thing. Very stressful.
It is, because you've got to tell 1,000,001 others, and you know that you've done that, and you know that the people around you that maybe you've hurt that you shouldn't have hurt, you know that you've done that, and you've got to live with that guilt. And so I try and be honest. I say to my family, you know, you may not like what I say, but I'll never lie to you. I stand in my truth. And, you know, people don't like that. They don't like honesty. They want you to tell them lies. They want you to stoke their ego. And I refuse to do that. I'm not a nasty, spiteful person, but I will tell you the truth. And, you know, I'm not very tactful sometimes, but, you know, I'm not going to tell you shit that just to make you happy either. I'm going to be honest with you. And I think, you know, the relationship that I'm in now is probably the most honest I've ever been in my life. And I can look at him and go, you just drive me absolutely crazy right now. Get out of my way. And it's like, okay. I come back with a hanky 5 minutes later and go, is it safe to come in now? but to be able to live honestly is it's really important. And because there are people in relationships that, you know, and that's why people have affairs. They're not able to tell their partners what they're unhappy about. So they go outside and they seek external validation somewhere else, rather than going, this isn't working, and why isn't it not working? Because we're not the people that we met, and what are we not doing? Because when we met, we loved each other, we fell in love, or whatever. And how do we rekindle that? And I work with a lot of couples that I actually help stay together, which is kind of cool.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, and that's the thing, is when you do speak your truth, you are standing tall when you do. If you're not speaking your truth, you are on your knees. And this is the thing, one day on your feet is better than a lifetime on your knees. And a lot of people are living on their knees right now, right? You may not think you are. You may not realize you are. However, you are. If you're not speaking your truth, if you're not being true to yourself, and the number one regret of the dying is living a life not true to yourself, right? So the truth,
100%.
it's your integrity, it's your honor, it's your self-worth, it's your self-value. So as much as possible, have integrity with yourself and do the right thing. You know what the right thing is to do by yourself and others. Now, Pam, I could talk to you all day on this topic. I do want to know more about your challenge. So please let us know about what's happening for the Reset Your Life Day. We've got the meditation, and what's happening for the challenge, please.
Well, on the Reset Your Life Day, I just want to start this movement where people think, okay, I'm going to reset my life, and I want them to write down their goals or an area of life that they want to reset, and then they go and they get some earpods or something, and they go and sit where they're going to be undisturbed for about 40 minutes. And I'm not sure whether I'll make it longer. It just depends on where it goes. But if you allow an hour where you can be totally for you, your time, write your goals down on a piece of paper, write your wishes, your thing you want to change down, hold it in your hands, bring some crystals if you want to. And if you're with me, I'm down at the beach at Surfers Paradise. I'm going to be down the bottom of Cavalav. There's a big red cross thing down there. I think everyone knows about that. I will set up a down round there. But otherwise, I'm going to be doing it on FaceTime through live. So you don't need to see me, but I will be doing it through there. So you just close your eyes, get somewhere comfy where you can sit, as I say, be undisturbed. And I will give you instructions on what to do with your goals that you've written down and your desires. And then I want you to know that to kickstart that, on Monday, the 13th of September, we'll be doing a free 5-day Reset Your Life challenge where you will get an hour of coaching with me every single day for free. You get a PDF download. There'll be a PDF download for every single day to help you work through your challenges. That you'll choose one that you want to work on, and you work through that. Now, obviously, there will be an upgrade. So if you want to have another hour with me, and you can do that, it's going to be a $97 upgrade. Now, you don't need to do that. You can do with the worksheets I've given you in the beginning, and you can do it on your own, and it's entirely up to you. So there's no pressure. But there's a $97 upgrade where you'll get more tools, another hour of coaching with me. You can throw questions and answers at me, and I might even put one of you in the hot seat. So we'll see, and help break down something. And because you know what, the rising tide lifts all boats. And if we all help each other grow, because someone else has already been through what you're going through. And so by getting a collective bunch of people around, then they go, I dealt with it this way, I dealt with it this way. And one of those ways is actually going to resonate with you. So that's the power of groups. And I do have a mastermind group that I am going to start putting together, but that's another ball that couldn't go up in the air right now because I've got too many things going on. But so for now, it's going to be the Reset Your Life meditation on this Friday, and then Monday start the 5-day challenge. And you can just do the morning. I think I'm going to do it at 7 o'clock in the morning so that the American people, 7 o'clock Australian Brisbane time, so that the American people are able to join too. And so it's not middle of the night for them. And then you can stay on for another hour after, as I say, and you'll get another tool. The first one I'm giving you is about 13 pages. So you're going to get a lot of stuff given to you to help you reset your life, to break down what you believe and why you believe it. And a lot of these tools, some of them have come from my Reset Your Life program, because I want to share with you and show you how easy it is to actually reset your life. And that's a 5-day process. And at the end of that, you might want to take it and I'm ready, go even deeper and join my 6-week Reset Your Life program. And that'll be on offer at the end of that too. So I'm trying to be transparent here. There are upsells and offers for you to go on if you want to. There's no pressure. It's entirely up to you. It's your journey, your life. You live it how you want. And if you're happy living it how you are right now, don't have to reset it, right? But if you're not, then take an opportunity, especially with all the free stuff, and see maybe if it is for you.
Wonderful. And I've put all those links there into the chat, so check them out. The Reset on Life. We've got the Facebook page, Reset Your Life Day page. There's a video link there for the Reset Your Life Challenge on September 10. There's a link there for the book. There's also a free journal you're giving away. Could you tell us a bit more about the journal?
That's right. The 30-day Reset Your Life free journal is just a freebie I wanted to give people for a positive mindset, so that they've got 31 days of prompts every single day to improve their mindset. So yeah, I've got a ton of these things. I've got self-esteem ones, and I won't give it away, but there's tons of other ones for you to. I've got quizzes and to quiz where you're at with certain areas of your life, and one of those is part of the upgrade. When you do the upgrade, I give you this quiz, and we work out the results and all that. So yeah, lots of surprises. Secret squirrel. So
okay,
I'm
awesome.
really excited
well,
about
that's
it.
incredibly generous there, and I know you've had some raving reviews of your work in the past. So, so if you are watching this and you're feeling called at all to come and hop along to the challenge, there's a free option and an upgrade option. That's correct, isn't it, Pamela? Yep. And just go to their Facebook page for that to get the details. Yep. Wonderful.
And if they want to find out more about me, they can go PamelaMillican.com, my website. You can go and stalk me. I would stalk me. Or check out my, I've got a ton of 5-star Google reviews too. So on Mastermind Next Level Coaching, that is. But if you put Pamela Millican in Mastermind Next Level Coaching, there's a ton of 5-star reviews. And here on YouTube too. I have really good reviews because I'm diligent at what I do and I care about what I do, and people feel that. And I won't stop until you get a result.
Yeah, I love it. I love how self-aware and conscious you are, and how much you care too. You've got a massive heart, Pamela, and you're extraordinary. Amazing what you do. So congratulations on the Reset Your Life Day and the challenge. How exciting. No better time than now. So, and if you're game, 5:30 a.m. on the beach. And should they bring anything for that meditation? just it might be cold at that time, maybe a jumper or something.
Just warm, just dress warm, but have a headset. If you're actually, because then you can listen to it live. But if you want to listen, you don't have a headset. If you're going to come live, actually, but you can if you want to. You could listen to it on the Facebooks or whatever. But it might be nicer if you're at the beach not to have a headset on and just listen to me. But yeah, make sure you come down with some, like a beanie or something, because it is kind of cool in the mornings right now, and maybe we'll all go for a coffee after or something. It'd be kind of cool. But there's lots of opportunities. I'm hoping that there's some producers out there that might ask for me for my script and make it into a film, because all I want to do is inspire people to not believe their programming and their conditioning, and that they're more than what people say. And that's my thing. I'm more than what you say. You can tell me I'm worthless. You can tell me I'm nothing, and all the rest of it, but I don't believe you, because I know how much effort I put in, and I know how much I care. And people need to be more honest about that with themselves. Most people are really good people, and if those aren't so good and so honest, they're not. Their behavior is what they're doing to get unmet needs met. So if they can work on that, then they can come back and be the people that they were born as, and not the people they become because of their environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful words of wisdom there, Pam. Anything else you'd like to share before we wrap up today?
Just to live your life. And a phrase that I've coined is to live your life by design and not by default. You get one life, and living it for someone else's standards, morals, beliefs is a complete waste of yours. And stop living the same day over and over again, and then grind to a screeching halt at 75 and call it a life, because it's not. And Groundhog Day is not a life. So change it up. And if you're stuck somewhere, stop staying stuck. Ask yourself why you're stuck, and what price are you paying just to not rock the boat? And I do have a challenge coming up for that, by the way. But that's another secret skill. But that's about it, really. Live your own life. Live by design.
Awesome. So watch this space. Now, if you have been watching this, thank you so much for joining us. Please pop into the chat. What did you get out of this interview today? What are you going to do to reset your life moving forward? Are you going to join in the challenge? Sounds amazing. And what time on Monday is it starting, Pamela?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. Monday. Okay, great. Well, that's a good time for most people, because that's before work, and good time the other side of the world too. So 7 a.m. Beautiful. Fantastic. So great way to start the day with a meditation on Friday, and then the challenge next week. So check out those links that we've put into the chat.
Yeah. And there'll be a Zoom link there
There'll
on
be a
Monday
Zoom link.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, just check in the Facebook group. Yeah, if they join Mindset Connect to Reset Reform, it's like there's a link on my webpage. They can go through there and join that group, and I'll be posting everything in there as well.
Okay, wonderful.
So there's plenty of ways to get a hold of me and find out more about it.
Awesome. Hello, Julie. Julie's sending some claps and love. Thank you so
Julie
much.
Morton.
We'll send you some love back as well. Thank you so much for everyone who's been watching this. Let us know where you've been tuning in from and what you got out of this today. And hopefully we'll see some of you at the meditation or the challenge next week. Congratulations on your amazing work, Pamela. I can't wait to see the movie, the feature-length movie coming up with the screenplay. Watch
Put that out there.
Watch this space.
Yeah, lovely.
And hello, Holly. Holly's sending some love as well. Hello, Holly.
Oh, it's my daughter. I've become a grandma. She's so gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I love her so much.
Gorgeous. And a little baby there I can see in her picture. Beautiful.
7 months old. And she's absolutely smitten and in love with him. He's just an adorable thing. He's the happiest little chappie on the planet. And isn't he gorgeous?
Adorable. Such a blessing. Beautiful.
He's just starting to crawl.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we have the Global Good News Challenge happening at the moment as well. So if you want to share some gratitude and good news, we have that up until September 14. So you can start that any day between now and September 14. Very simple Facebook Live challenge. Just share your name, what you do, 3 things you're grateful for, and a piece of good news for 9 consecutive days. All the details are pinned to the top of the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. And we also have tomorrow our Mass Media Tribe event. That's a free event online. And we have a fantastic guest speaker from Canada. September Smith is her name. And she is speaking from 12 till 2 tomorrow. 12 till 2 is the event. So we'll have intros around the room. We'll do a group photo. We'll chat about media and podcast guesting for PR, profit, and profile is the topic. And we'll have giveaways tomorrow for anyone on the Zoom as well. So check those links out at my linktree.com/Aldwyn for that. And next week we have a free Publicity Secrets Masterclass as well next Wednesday night from 6 till 10 p.m. All those links are in that Linktree link/Aldwyn. So please stay connected. You are not alone out there. There's many things you can do to take your life to a whole other level or to reset your life. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you once again, Pamela. You're amazing. Watch this space for all the updates. Thank you. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. And remember to shine bright and light up all those around you. Signing out for today. We'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.